find it really funny. I went into one of these, I can't pronounce the Russian name, but they're like milk bars or like buffets. You'll know what I mean if you've been to Soviet countries. I'm in this town, by the way, 20 kilometers from the Russian border now. So it's like 95% Russian here, which is not that common for Kazakhstan. It's almost, in fact, this area is probably the most Russian area in Kazakhstan. And yeah, I went into one of these milk bars, and I found a few years ago in Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan in particular, in fact, more so than even in Poland, which is obviously an EU country and more expensive, that these sort of like buffets, which are supposed to be cheap, you pick your tray up and you choose items. They're like the same price as a restaurant, always, and they're like getting quite swanky inside now. It's almost a little bit hipster to kind of go to them, especially if you're in the city. It's sort of like a nostalgic thing from the Soviet Union. You go in and it's like a lot of them now are really new, especially if they're run by Russians. It's all quite swanky, like velvety chairs, but it's still like a milk bar. Anyway, so you're supposed to usually return your tray, and I had a little brief look and I saw someone else leave theirs. I didn't really think anything else of it, because it's not always the case that you return them if it's like a sort of a hybrid place. And I just go to leave, I say goodbye, and this woman comes sort of like out and she says something to me quite sternly in Russian, which is basically like, hey, put your tray on the side, sort of thing. I find it really funny because it's like, in what other scenario would you speak to a customer like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's not because I'm foreign, for sure, because she wouldn't have even known. But it's almost like they're doing you a favour. Like, yeah, it's like a charity thing. It's like, I've just paid for this buffet, which is now totally normal, probably more than a restaurant for basically the same portions. And it's, and in what other context would you then like shout at a customer? Obviously, it's like the sort of the rule, if you like, the sort of tradition is to return your tray. Okay, you definitely should. It's not like though someone is throwing trash on the floor. Like no one is being harmed in this scenario by leaving their tray on the table, which she's allowed to go up and clean anyway. She's literally going to go to the table that I was at with my tray and clean it. So, it's not like the worst thing in the world. Okay, the etiquette maybe, but in that situation, you just let it go, wouldn't you? Like, a customer has just paid you money, like good money, to eat there for like 15 minutes, and then you sternly, like, sort of give them a bollocking. It's bizarre to me. And do you know what another thing that's just so strange is in sort of Russian culture? Just checked into a hotel. It took me an hour to check into an empty hotel because her concern was that on my receipt for my booking, which I prepaid for, it didn't sort of specify, even though it actually did, according to her, what kind of room I was getting. I'm obviously one person, I just booked a room, paid for it, and she was worried, like, that had I seen the pictures and it doesn't match the hotel room exactly, I'm going to be somehow disappointed. Literally, I've arrived, it's 35 degrees, I just want to go in the room and chill out. I don't really care where I'm where I'm staying, do you know what I mean? And it took an hour of back and forth over absolutely nothing. And like, it's one of those things where there's that slight obsession with money. She's like saying, oh, the price you paid is really cheap. It's like, I booked through you. I literally paid you the hotel. What do you mean it's cheap? You made the prices. I didn't make the price. It's literally, I have a receipt, which you sent me actually the day before, from the hotel. Like, it's literally printed up with the hotel. And it's like, yeah, the room you paid is so cheap. I don't know what kind of room we have to give you. It's like, literally, you're the one that creates the prices. And then this is where it gets really bizarro as well, which is actually the first time. Excuse me, I'm going to have to... Wait a second. This is actually like the first time this one has happened. This one's like super Soviet. So this is like the first time this one's happened. So in the hotel, you have the corridor, obviously, with all the rooms. Outside each room, there's like a milk bar tray. Literally the tray I just put my food on in the fucking buffet hall. And they expect you to take your shoes off in the corridor outside of the room and put them on a tray before you go into your room. It's like, and this is a hotel that isn't cheap. This one's $27 a night, which she thinks is a cheap price. We're literally, like, this is where we are. Like a completely, like the most authentic Soviet town, 20 kilometers from the Russian border in East Kazakhstan, middle of nowhere. And she thinks like $27 is cheap. Just to put that in perspective, that's 20 English pounds a night, right? Hotel I just paid in the centre of the city in Samay, albeit it was a little older and crustier and more Soviet. It was £12 a night with breakfast included, actually. So it's like double, like mental. I have no sense of like how to price things, like what things are actually worth. It's sort of like they put the investment into a business just based on how much money they want to spend or how much money they've got. And then after they work out, oh, we've spent so much money, now we're going to have to charge X amount. There's no like logic in, that's not what like you can price your business as in a hick town. We're not in the middle of Moscow. Do you know what I mean? Like, bizarro. So anyway, so welcome to, yeah, so up there, we've got like some hills. Should be able to see a little, should be able to get a panoramic of the town from there. And now I'm looking for the church. So yeah, that's basically the gist. Anyway, tomorrow we get to Oskerman. And actually, one of the things I noted about Oskerman I saw on the way here, huge hydroelectric dam, but everything is just like abandoned and Soviet. And on the way I also saw I think I see a Lenin coming up, so I'll keep you on camera for the next like 2 minutes, and the church is there as well, so I'll just keep you there. I saw a little Chernobyl-style town. So if you haven't been to Chernobyl, it wasn't like Chernobyl wasn't a super exception in terms of Soviet cities. The thing that obviously made Chernobyl famous was the accident, and what made it sort of the prestige of sort of modern developments at the time was its nuclear reactor, which made the city sort of self-sustainable and obviously very lucrative, because a lot of people that worked there were technicians, very educated people that were working in the reactor. So it was a very sort of upper middle class version of what was being constructed everywhere in the Soviet Union at the time. You know, these sort of new development projects. You have your schools, your playgrounds, everything is sort of self-contained. That's the term I was looking for. But anyways, on the way here by the hydroelectric dam, it looks literally like it's about to fall apart. They had these just enormous, abandoned complexes. I think the most notable ones you can see, if you don't want to travel too far, are in Georgia. You'll see Georgia is just like fucking absolutely. Georgia is swarming with abandoned Soviet infrastructure. But yeah, this place was crazy, man. Like, we're talking maybe 4 or 5 dozen tenement blocks, maybe housing, I don't know, 50, 60 apartments each. More than that, probably. And yeah, it was just one of those things to see. I'm sort of keeping it going because we're getting to the church. So down here, you see there's a little gold head at the end of the hedge. Usually that's a Lenin. And there's some other weird white statues next to it. And oh, we're passing the Soviet ambulance shelter. Like the hospital was up there. Look how many ambulances they have. Yeah, hey, this town is just like, it's really actually super chill. I love it. It's so authentic, and we are quite out in the sort of abyss. As I said, there's no functioning train, but there is a train line from the former industry. And there were no buses today from Samay, but I don't know if she was lying to me yesterday, because that's what she told me. I went to the office and I'd emphasised, and I had to get a shared taxi for 4,000, which is like £6, which was very, very comfortable and fast. But I just went to the bus station earlier to buy the ticket for tomorrow, because I'm just here for one night, to Oskerman, and there's like 4 buses. So, and Samay is sort of like as big as Oskerman, so, and the equivalent distance. So, I'm not quite sure if she was right there. Very bizarro. And God, the church is a little bit further actually, so I might have to cut this off here. But yeah, we've got some sort of It's sort of weird here. I guess, you know, everyone has access to Russia here, which is 20 kilometers across the border. You obviously don't need a visa. Probably like the only person for hundreds of kilometers now that actually needs a visa to go across that border. But yeah, man, this place is just, I don't know, it's just chill. And as I said in the previous video, I'm going to go to Rida next, which is sort of like a miniature Karakol, like a winter ski sort of town, but not, you know, commercial. We're talking more for like traditional real hunters and fishermen and primarily Russian tourists. I don't think any foreigners come here. And I think I've said in the video before last, you can always gauge how touristy a place is going to be by the listings you find on all the major websites like Expedia or Booking.com, you know, Airbnb, that kind of stuff. And here, Rida has one, and that's a brand new listing because a few months ago when I looked, there was nothing. They'd literally just listed that property. And of course, you can look at Google Maps and stuff, but often you'll see next to nothing. So it's always an indication that it's going to be really super authentic, and that is certainly the case in this region. This town here has one listing, and it's fresh as well on Expedia, which is probably why she doesn't understand the concept of the booking I've given her. And then in May, I think there's like 3 or 4, and likewise Oscar and 3 or 4 hotels, and of course half of those are like your typical Novotels and kind of the spawn of upper middle classism, we call it. So yeah, let's go and have a look at this church. We're here now. If you're still tuned in. Do you know what is missing though? Like, I think we're missing a Lenin. Because, God, that looks like Netanyahu, doesn't it? Look at that dude there. Oh my goodness. I hope it's not. I have to leave the town. There's also a Soviet monument here as well. God, doesn't that look like Netanyahu? Jesus. I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't surprise me. They're all on the same team. Russians, Israelis. So many Russian Israelis. Russian Jews. Bane of all evil. Looks a bit Netanyahu-like. I'm assuming it's Kazakh. And then, this is turning into a longer video than I planned. I hadn't actually planned on wandering around. I just want to vent my ponderings on the fucking hotel stuff. Here we go. This is a nice church. Now we got some good stuff. This is the number one thing to see in this town, which I'm assuming is a town of maybe 60, 70,000 max. Wow, do you know what? I haven't seen foxgloves in a while, and I have to say, these are really nice. These, I think they're foxgloves. Maybe I'm not sure. They're like a variation of foxglove, but these are really nice. Look at these. If I had a garden, which I most certainly will in the future. Look at that beetle. Look at that. Oh my god. That's so cool. Can you get on? I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's a stag beetle. It's a stag beetle. Look at that.